I'm ready. And Monday afternoon, 1 o'clock, welcome again to the Deal Doctor live stream. It's March 6, 1989. My older daughter was 4 days old. That's how long ago that was. I was in a seminar, my first seminar, with Floyd Wickman, who stood in front of the group, and Floyd said, "Listings are the name of the game." That didn't mean a lot to most of us who were fairly new in the real estate business. I'd had a license for a couple of years, but just sort of bounced around. I was working a full-time job and doing it on the side, and not very well at all. So when he made this comment, his statement, "Listings are the name of the game," I sort of cocked my head and I thought, what does he mean by that? Why? Isn't a buyer's commission check just as spendable as a seller's commission check? Yeah, it is. The difference is the amount of work it takes to get one. Now, he went on to explain that it's a lot easier to manage 10 listings than it is to manage 10 buyers. Now think about that in today's market. It's hard enough to manage one buyer who calls you on a daily basis or even every other day, who says, "I need to see a house right now, because if I don't see it right now, we're gonna lose it to somebody else." That's a legitimate concern. And we as real estate agents who are working with buyers have been jumping through hoops for them for now about 3 years, maybe more. Especially in this market, it is extremely time-consuming and energy-sapping to go out and show buyers houses only to lose in a competitive offer situation when your buyer says, "Well, nobody offers more than full price," or "Nobody offers full price, I want to negotiate." And then there's the process of education. You have to go through the process of educating them to say, okay, how many offers is it going to take before you understand that you are going to continue to lose out if you offer 10% less than the purchase price, if you don't offer the purchase price or more, or have an appraisal guarantee, or have a big down payment. Whatever the case is that causes buyers to win in this market is what buyers have to do in order to win the day. So, all the while, the listing agent is sitting back going, "Yeah, let me know when you send that offer over." It's a lot easier to be the listing agent, particularly in this kind of a market, than it is in a buyer's market, for example. But even in a buyer's market, even in 2010, it was much easier to manage 10 listings than to manage 10 buyers. And I hope that some of you are saying, "Are you out of your mind, Don? If I had 10 buyers or 10 listings, I'd be tickled to death. I only have 1 or 2 buyers. That's it. I don't have any listings. I've got to take whatever I can get. And so I'm taking buyers." And I suggest to you that maybe what you need to do is to commit to going after listings. I'm not saying turn away buyers, because maybe it's the only paycheck you're going to see for a couple of months, if you're able to do that. But make a serious commitment right now and start acting on it right now, that in 2021 you are going to go after listings with 90% of your energy. Use 90% of your energy to go after listings. There are some common myths right now at this point of time of year that buyers are still waiting to enter the market. No, they're not. They're here. Yeah, there are going to be more buyers coming in and more buyers coming in, but what we're experiencing right now is not a lack of buyers. It's a lack of inventory. Now, part of the reason that I was motivated to do this morning, there are a couple of reasons. One of which is that Eric and I are getting a lot of calls about vacant land. How do you write up an offer for vacant land? Well, that tells me something that I saw back in 1977 when I bought my first house. All of the market was very similar then. It was a seller's market, multiple offers, not nearly as bad as it is today. But at one point I said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go build my own house. And so I went away and I bought a vacant land and a build job. And that was my first house I owned, because I was sick of competing against all of the buyers and losing out. So what we have started to see, and this may or may not be a trend, but we've gotten a lot of calls from agents about writing up vacant land deals. In fact, I think over the last 24, 36 hours, I've had 2 or 3 of them calls. So all I can think of is that buyers are beginning to say, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to build. I'm going to buy a piece of vacant land and I'm going to build on it. And then I'm going to get out of the fray, this feeding frenzy that we have in the market today. So if that's the case, we might start to see more and more build jobs, even whether it's a builder's speculation, putting up a house on spec, or we might see more and more buyers go the way of their own build jobs on vacant land. That will help to relieve some of the buyer pressure on the existing inventory. But one of the reasons that there's such low inventory is that sellers are afraid of selling because of what it's going to take to go to another property. They're hanging on to their properties. We didn't expect this. Years ago, it was expected that by now, baby boomers, empty nesters, and so on, would be moving into condos. They'd sell the family home, they'd sell the place where they raise their kids, and they would downsize and move into something smaller. And what we've discovered is that percentage isn't nearly as high, not nearly as high as what the experts predicted. So there's other myths. You've probably heard that it's the wrong time to sell. There's a season to sell. Typically, historically, it was the spring market. We have a spring market. And then we have a little bump in the fall, the first part of fall. And then we have a little burst of activity right after the first of the year, after people have gone into their friends' houses and seen them all decorated for Christmas and the holidays, and they say, oh, honey, I think we need a new house. And so in January, we see a burst of activity. So there are seasonal parts of the year, seasons of the year where it's where there's higher demand. But let's make no mistake, we are seeing multiple offers right now on those listings. So I've also found that when I've listed houses through the holiday season, that the homes look great. They're all dressed up. They're all bright and happy looking places. And so when buyers walk in, they feel that. they feel like it's home. They smell cookies in the oven, or they see a Christmas tree up, or whatever. And very often that actually motivates them to buy, and again, particularly because historically it's been low inventory. There's also a myth that home prices are going to come back down. Maybe, probably they will come back down at some point. The problem is we don't know when that point is. We actually are seeing more new buyers enter the market than are leaving the market. Every 18-year-old is a potential home buyer. So we're seeing more and more of them coming into the home market in their early 20s, late 20s, first-time home buyers. So for the foreseeable future, I don't see the market declining, and in order for prices to go down, they're going to have to, the market itself, the demand for homes is going to have to go down. I don't see that happening in the near future, and I'm talking within the next year. So the best thing you can do is go out and get listings. Increase the inventory, find those homes that could be on the market that aren't, and discover why they're not on the market. And then deal with the objections those sellers have about listing their houses. Obviously, with the COVID situation, it's a little bit more challenging to market the house and to have buyers feel comfortable, and for sellers to feel comfortable that you can go into a house. But there are precautions. The seller gets to call the ball as far as what those precautions are, whether you wear gloves or footies or masks and so on. So you can still sell houses. We've seen that. We've had a burst of activity in the last since 1st of June, last 5 months. So that's just not that's not a legitimate objection to going out and getting new listings. Another myth that I always hear, again, it goes back to the seasonal thing of we want to wait till spring. We've been thinking about selling, we've been getting our house ready, but we want to wait until the spring market. There's no guarantee that the spring market is going to be good. Based on everything that we see population-wise and demand-wise, it appears that it will be, but there's no guarantee. So, if you want to pursue getting listings in 2021, first of all, start now. Start your action now. Plan it, commit to the plan, and work your plan. For example, Paul Carlson announced that we have a replacement to KV Core, and that soon all of your contacts that you had in KV Core are going to be loaded up into your dashboard account, which is going to be connected to the to the overall 5-star page, which again is under construction. But one of the things right at the top of that is the automated listing campaigns. I'll say it slower. Automated listing campaigns. You can set up a campaign for your potential sellers, clients, database, whatever they are, however they get this information. You can create those messages right now, and then when the website is ready within the next period of time, it's going to be within 30 days, I think, but they can start sending out to those potential listings messages, lead generation pages For example, you can be sending them market updates, individual property pages. You can send them your resume. You can talk about the number of homes that you've sold, what your experience level is, and most important, and many other things. You can document walkthrough videos, all manner of things. But the one thing that you really have to do, with the most important thing, is that you need to make a commitment that you're going to, number one, prospect for listings, not for buyers, and that you're going to defer buyers to the back burner. You're going to focus your primary energies every single day on getting listings. That buyers are going to have to wait, and if you can do both, great, but the number one priority in getting listings is to make a commitment to it and not let anyone, any buyer, any requirement that you have distract your focus from that. One thing you need to do is to create a marketing plan. What makes you different? Why should someone list with you? Why should someone pay you 6 or 7 or whatever commission you charge for a listing? That's one of the first things that I did when I came into the business and learned that I was going to go after listings is I said, why would they hire me? Well, when I was first in the business, I had spent 15 years in the advertising business prior to that. Had a pretty good marketing and advertising background. I could write some snappy copy for a newspaper ad. And so that was my niche. I used my marketing skills to go after listings. What's your niche? I don't know. Maybe it's simply that you're a nice person that everyone likes. And that's more powerful than any snappy ad copy. I can tell you that. If you are, people know you, like you, and trust you, you got a leg up. You're like way out in the lead. So use that to go out and prospect, not for buyers, but for listings. The buyers will come. The buyers will happen because they always do. But if you focus on going after listings, if you really target them and you learn how to overcome their objections for any of their preconceived notions, whether it's fear of not finding someplace else to live, that's a big one. You can overcome that objection. Well, I understand how you feel, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, but just so I understand, just so I'm clear, your biggest fear in listing your home for sale right now is that you're afraid you won't find something else that you can live in and that you'll be happy in once you've sold your house. Is that what I'm understanding? And they'll nod and say, yeah. If I could show you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that I can solve that problem for you, I can at least help eliminate or mitigate the likelihood that you're going to move into a house that you don't like because you've sold your home. Would you even think about listing your property now? Yes or no? Well, maybe, yeah, maybe. Okay, fair enough. Well, let me explain that one of the things that we can do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is to include a phrase in your listing contract that says that this listing and any pursuant purchase agreement is subject to you finding suitable housing within the next within the 30 days after entering into a fully executed purchase agreement. So you would have 30 days to find something that you like. And if you do, and you enter into that purchase agreement, then all of the timelines start at that point, the inspections and the well and septic inspection or whatever. With that would that make a difference to you in listing your home now? It might. It might make a huge difference. It might make enough of a difference that they list with you. Same thing, objection handling techniques in terms of the seasonality. Well, I'm going to wait till spring. I want to wait till the flowers are bloomed. I want to wait till the swimming pool is open for the summer. Okay. So if I understand you correctly, your major concern right now is that you want your house to be looking its best on the outside because of the weather and blooms in spring and all of that. You want it to be looking its best on the outside in order to put it on the market. Is that what I'm understanding? Yeah. Okay. If I showed you that the market right now is better in terms of demand than it may be in May of next year, and that demand has more to do with the inside of your home than the outside of your home, would you even think about listing now? I don't know, maybe. Okay. Well, let's say, for example, for a moment that it is. You say, yeah, that could tell. Sure, prove it to me, Don. Come on, show me. And then I would go on to explain that a lot of people who come into homes during the holiday season and even during the winter feel warmth because there's a fireplace going, or there's holiday decorations, Christmas decorations up, and so on. And that makes them feel good and warm, and that's where they're going to live. They're going to live inside the house. They're going to go out to the pool in June and July, but that's secondary to what they are going to live in most of the year. So, very often I found that people will say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the pool is an accessory, could be a plus, could be a minus to some. And some people really don't care about the flowers outside. What they really care about is what's inside the house. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you agree with me on that, then how about we get the ball rolling? Or at least, may I show you the marketing plan that I'm going to employ? Here's what I'm going to do if you decide to list your home with me. This is the first thing, what I'm going to do on the first day. And here's what I'm going to do on the second day, and the third day, and the fourth day. And you go right through it. I have it all written up. I have examples of everything, brochures, flyers, videos on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Get your marketing plan in place. You have about a month and a half that you can do that before you come blowing out of the gates in 2021, that you can go out on a listing appointment and say, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's why I'm different than the other person down the road. I have a listing process, my marketing campaign that I'm going to do, and it's very specific. Here's exactly what I'm going to do for you. Now, over the weekend, I think it was, I saw a new ad on Facebook from Dustin Anderson. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And if anyone can ignore on Facebook, can ignore that creativity and go, wow, he's really doing something different to get attention for his listing. I mean, you're captivated by it. You can't turn away from it. That's powerful. That's incredibly powerful. Congratulations again, by the way, Dustin. Think about yourself. What do you have that nobody else has? What way can you market yourself to listings in a way that no one else can? I don't know the answer to that. I have videos that I've created that I use for my marketing to listings they're different than Dustin's. And there are other agents out there with their own marketing plan for listings. But that's an incredibly important thing, is to have a listing presentation which outlines exactly what is going to be done for those homes when you when you list them. Sorry, we have a knock at the door here. A little distraction. This is the one. The real estate market is going to crash. Well, I don't see any evidence of that. If we see higher interest rates, it could slow down a bit. But I don't even see that happening. At this point, there's no evidence that there's a crash imminent. So, get out, sit in your thinking chair for a bit, think about what you can do, what you have to offer that nobody else has to offer, and start building your marketing program for you to get listings for 2021. And set a target for how many listings you want. Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 20? How many listings do you want in 2021? How many listings will that require that you get each month? If you want to sell 24 listings in 2021, that means you're going to have to be listing them at a pace that is higher than 2 listings per month, because one of them or 2 of them isn't going to sell. So if you want 24 listings to sell, then you probably ought to be thinking about listing 3 of them a month at least. And that's if they're priced pretty fairly. And if you are not great at pricing, then probably 4 of them a month, if you want to get to 24 of them sold in a year. So start laying out a plan and focus that plan on getting listings. Don't worry, the buyers will come. Hopefully you'll have the ability to not jump through every hoop that they put in front of you, and you can control your business as well as your life a bit. Trust me, I know. I've been working with a couple of buyers lately, and it's absolutely driven me up a wall. I can't stand it. So I encourage you to go out and get listings. Keep in mind, listings they always have been the name of the game, and they will continue to be the name of the game. Focus on it, make a commitment to it, build a marketing plan that shows your strengths and does an excellent job of getting exposure for your listings out in the marketplace. So I hope that helps. I hope that encourages you to get started on 2021 right now. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.